Hey everyone, welcome back to Rob's Funk and Junk podcast, episode 30. Episode 30. It's Wednesday the 17th of January. We're nearly through January already. It's flying by. Hope you're all good out there. Hope you're not too cold, depending on where you are in the world, because it's flipping freezing here. It is really cold here today. But yeah, all is good here. Pretty much good. I'm a little bit poorly because I had a tooth removed the other day back here, having a bit of dental work, and I've just been to go and get the old antibiotics. So I've literally just come back from the dentist. Woke up feeling like crap this morning, with a throbbing face. Basically, I had an abscess, recurring abscess, which I've now got fixed by having the tooth ripped out, and I'm going to get an implant. So, fuck it, why not? Get an implant. So, I'll be all right. I'm feeling a little bit better actually after I've been like loading myself up with painkillers. But yeah, I'm feeling okay. I'll live. I shall live. What is happening? So yeah, we had went away last week with Trionic. We had our first gig over in Paris last week at the New Morning, and it was a stonker. If I don't say so myself, it was a great fun evening. So to anyone who came out to see us last week, at Pizza Express in London. And you know, the New Morning, it was for us to go to Paris for the first time and play a venue like the New Morning. It must have been about 3/4 full, if not more, and it was great, really great. It was really nice. Yeah, I must admit, I've been feeling a little bit despondent about doing that kind of thing. Just because of how nowadays it all depends so much on your Instagram figures and your YouTube figures and all that. Venues don't tend to look at an artist or a band, especially the kind of music we're doing, unless you've got figures like high numbers of your Instagram, and it can end up feeling a little bit chicken and egg. You know, how do you get a following without playing? And how do you play without the following? So we've been trying to get this venue for a while, the New Morning in Paris, and we've had this with quite a few venues in the UK. The Jazz Cafe, for example, they won't have us in there because we don't have enough. We've only got like 2,800 followers on Instagram. And my feeling is they probably don't even listen to the music. They probably just look at how many people you've got that follow you already, and if it's not enough, they won't have you in there, which is quite depressing. Never used to be like that, but But anyway, we managed to get past that, and the New Morning, luckily, Ivan, who plays in the band, he was also in the band Brooklyn Funk Essentials. So he had a contact at the New Morning in Paris, and they managed to get us in there. And we sold, well over, I think it's only like a 450 capacity. So we must have sold about 350 tickets. So, and it was rammed. It looked rammed anyway, and an amazing response. So it kind of it uplifted my spirits, and we had a great time. It was lovely being out there playing our own music, and we're looking into getting some more. We've already had some more gigs scheduled in, hopefully for later in the year in France, and we're looking to go to Holland and Germany and Spain. So if anyone's out there that's involved in a venue and might think that they might want to have Trionic come and play, we're up for it. We want to come and play. yeah, it was great fun, really good fun. And got to meet some lovely people. Got to play with the guys. Obviously, we had the amazing Imani on vocals with us. She's been singing with us recently, and we're looking to get into the studio quite soon to work on some new material. So I'm quite excited about that. Just sort of looking around at studios. The idea behind Trionic, if anyone doesn't know about the band that I have, obviously I'm in Jamiroquai still, but as a side project, Paul Turner and myself, along with the amazingly talented Ivan Van Hetten, we've got this band called Trionic. And years ago, I mean, it started about 10 years ago. Yeah, probably about 10 years ago. And we did our first little EP 10 years ago. We did maybe 4 or 5 tracks, put them out, and then didn't do anything else. We left it for a while. I had some things going on in my life. You know, I got divorced and you know, just was working, sort of doing other things. But Ivan reached out to us again a couple of years ago and said, "Look, should we do some more music? If we feel like we've got something here." And we got together in a room and wrote some more songs, along with Sean Williams, the amazing Sean Williams on vocals. And the idea behind the band is, I was always really attracted to, well, a little bit tired of spending ages on a recording. And I always liked the ethos of going into a room with a band, having an idea, and kind of fleshing out an idea really quickly and writing it really quickly. And soon as you kind of get it, you just press record, and you don't, you know, we don't sort of do loads and loads of takes. We just sort of record very quickly, and we try our best not to overproduce something, and we don't grid it. We don't grid out the drums and tighten things up. We don't, we might do a take, and if something, if there's a little mistake, we might be able to fix that, but nothing is tuned. There's not too many overdubs. We don't do too much overdubbing, just because we want to be able to go out and play it live and not be missing parts. So that's what we've done throughout all of the recordings we've done with Trionic. Is we've done things really quickly. We don't labour over the mixes too much. We don't, it's as close to what I can imagine bands like the Crusaders did back in the day. They used to sort of make an album in 2 weeks back then, because they had the budget to be in a studio. So I've got a studio here, Ivan's got a studio, and what we tend to do is just get a batch of ideas together and then go in and kind of knock them out over 2 days, and then sort of spending a little time polishing them, but not too much time polishing them. And that may, I don't know whether anyone likes the music or not, I don't know, but it just feels like real music again. Not saying that any of the other stuff isn't real music, but yeah, it's very much, we go with what the feeling is at the time. But yeah, so to get out, we've only, last year was the first year that we actually went out to play this stuff live. So trying to build up an audience for live with that, has been a little bit tricky, but it kind of restored and lovely people have come out to see us play. I think we've only done 6 or 7 shows, so we're looking to do more, and it'd be great to get on some of the jazz festivals across Europe. France is always an amazing place to play, because they've got a really, not that anywhere else don't, it's just that whenever we play in France, especially with Jamiroquai, it's such an amazing reception when we play there. And we all, all us musicians love going over to France to play, and the food's great as well. So yeah, that was really, really good fun. It's it kind of does make me just the fact that we managed to get this gig without a promoter or an agent. Well, actually, no, there was a promoter, but we managed to get the gig without an agent, and we managed to sell it relatively well. Kind of makes you think sometimes that these gatekeepers, the agents and the promoters, God, I'm probably going to piss some people off. Sometimes it can feel like, I mean, we speak to people sometimes, and all you get told is you need more social media content. All the time is you've not got enough social media content. You need more videos. You need more music out there. You need. It always feels, it's sort of like that feeling of when you were at school and you used to sort of do your homework and work really hard, and you used to hand it in, and then the teacher or whoever would go, "No, you need to do more." And this was almost like, same with A&R. Whenever you were sort of making a record or working for a record company, you're constantly being told it's not good enough, and then you leave the room. They sit there and do something else. You go away and scramble and carry on working your ass off. So, I can see with my son. My son, who's sort of on his own musical career at the moment, is on his own musical path. He gets approached by these people who, they're record labels. Am I going to talk about this? I am going to talk about this. Why not? Fuck it. Because I hear some stories out there. Just they frustrate me and infuriate me a little bit. So I'm going to tell you a story that I know. There are these labels, record labels out there, that you have to pay. You have to pay the label a certain amount of money, and they can get your music on a playlist. They submit your music to a Spotify playlist thing, and I'm talking lots of money. Not, lots of money for an up and coming artist. Anyway, I've heard figures like $2,000 a month, where you pay that organisation to submit your music to a Spotify playlist, to get you on a playlist. And I've not come across them myself, but I've heard about them, and I think that's. And from what I gather, and I don't know this myself, I don't know. I've only had very small experience with the playlist. From what I gather, playlisting is all algorithmic anyway. It's whether it hits the algorithm in a certain way. So for people to be taking a lot of money off someone, an artist, an up and coming artist, for them, because they've got the contacts to get your music into the right person at Spotify, for you then to get your song playlisted, to not really earn that much money from it. Anyway, yeah, so, but yeah, it's gatekeepers. There's a lot of gatekeepers around, and sometimes you can do it without the gatekeeper, and sometimes you can't. And it's great sometimes when you can. It's really, really nice feeling. So that was perhaps what I'm getting at. It was really pleasant doing the gig the other day. So I also, what's happened? So yeah, talking of numbers, I've hit over 9,000 subscribers today. So that's really nice. It's a really slow build on this channel because I don't do the the gear reviews too much. I did that a while ago, and I don't do loads and loads of lessons on here. But I might start teaching a few things on here. But it's I do get a bit bogged down with the technology of it all sometimes. So, but I've hit over 9,000 subscribers on my YouTube channel, and I really appreciate anyone out there who's watching it. yeah, as you know, we don't make any money out of you doing YouTube. But it is a great way to start conversations, I think. Conversations, and as I've said, I look at YouTube videos all the time. I'm constantly looking at them for information on gear and thought processes and recording. And as I said, I probably watch more YouTube and listen to more YouTube than I do music these days, which is probably not a good thing. I have had some. Hang on, let me open them up. Let me open it up. I have had some questions. So, hang on. I'll do the emails first. The old... Oh, hang on a minute. Where are we? Rob's Funk and Junk questions. So, I have a question. It's from Felix Rishi. And he has asked, I'm going to look down here so I can see a bit closer. He says, hi Rob, thanks for doing this podcast type of thing, or whatever you call it. I'm a fan of your playing ever since, and I really enjoy listening to your stories. I have 2 questions. Thank you, Felix, for your nice words. You talked about a huge revelation in your studio when you went back to mic up your amps with a 57 and a Royer. I was wondering if you ever considered going back playing one of your cool amps live again instead of the Quad Cortex. I had a revealing experience after doing a lot of shows with a Helix and a QC, Quad Cortex, and then going back to my old deluxe reverb. And it's very clear that this is so much more fun. I know and love all of the benefits from going digital. By the way, I saw you a few years ago with Jamiroquai, and your Kemper sound out of the PA really impressed me. So that's question number 1. So yes. Now I've spoken about this at huge lengths. Having recently done gigs with an amp and a small pedal board, which I've got down here, I absolutely loved it. Yeah, it was really, really great. I used a little deluxe reverb on one gig and a Hot Rod DeVille type thing on another gig with a pedal board in front of it, and I absolutely loved it. It is much more fun. I totally agree. It's much more fun. In those smaller venues, it really does make a huge difference especially when you don't have in-ears. So on both of these gigs, there were no in-ears, and it is a huge amount of fun. I would say though that on a gig where you do have in-ears and the whole gig is on in-ears, in-ear monitors, I would say there's probably more benefits to having a Quad Cortex or another modeler like a Kemper, because of the mic placement situation on amps. I think that when you're playing a gig where it's in-ear monitors, usually that's going to be on a larger production scale. I don't mean just sort of playing down the pub. If I'm playing down the pub or a small club, I would always much rather have an amp. I think it changes the way you perceive the band. Your playing is more inside the music when you have an amp with a band. When you're on in-ears, you do tend to disappear into your own little world a little bit, and I think all musicians do that. The interaction, you have to be much more on it with your interaction when you're on in-ears, because you're in your own little world. So yeah, I do personally. I've always loved playing through amps, but I must admit the last few years of doing it with Jamiroquai, where I had my amps on stage and my in-ears in, I found that it wasn't consistent enough for me, because the mic, just moving the mic and travelling around the world with different power sources does really affect the way your amps sound, unless you've got a power conditioner, which I did have. But and also playing in a band where you can't really play loud on stage, which is the case with Jamiroquai. We were really quiet on stage. That is why I think, for me, a modelling type situation, even though I do have some speakers on stage, is better. But smaller clubs and doing the kind of thing I did the other day, where it's like a small stage where no one else is on in-ears. Only the singer was on in-ears. She just uses in-ears for her own. She has monitors in front as well, but she has in-ears as well. So, but yeah, it is much more fun. I do think the interaction between the guitar and the amp is different and fun, more fun. Yeah. Second question Felix has is, I spotted a Nobles on your studio board. Is it an old one? Is it worth the hype? I follow Uncle Larry's videos religiously as well. So, yes, mine is an old one. Here it is. I have an old beat up ODR one here, right? A long time ago, probably a good 14 years ago, I can't remember when it was. I remember seeing a video with Tom Bukovac, Uncle Larry. He posted something up. I don't know how I came across it. It was just on YouTube, and it was him jamming in his garage. Like freeform playing. It was amazing, just great. He had a 335 with a Bixby on it, and it just sounded great. And then I saw something else where he had a Nobles on his pedal board, and then I saw a post from the producer John Shanks. If you know the producer John Shanks, he's an LA producer, guitar player, and he also had a Nobles on his board, and I just thought I would try one. At the time I was using, what did I have on my board at the time? I think I had a Rat pedal. I had an old, a Keeley modded Rat. What else did I have? A Keeley modded Rat. I've had loads. I had an old Tube Screamer, a TS909. And I personally have never really liked Tube Screamers that much. It's not my thing. I understand why people do like them, but it's not for me. And I thought I'd just try one. So I managed to buy that one on eBay, an old one. And back in those days, it was probably 60 quid, £60, which I know now they go for a hell of a lot more. And yeah, I love it. I really love it. It works with the way I play. I use that all the time. I do have on my small board, which I used recently. I have. I've got a Roger Mayer Voodoo One on my board, which is a great pedal, and I've also got the Vermurum Shanks ODS One, which is the John Shanks, kind of his the Vermurum, the amazing Japanese pedal company. I've got one of their Jan Ray pedals, which is great, and I love. And the Shanks ODS One is their kind of take on the Nobles. I think. Don't think it sounds the same. Well, yeah, it kind of sounds the same. I think you can finesse the Shanks a little bit more. There's a low end thing. So because the Nobles, one of the one of the things that people say is there's too much low end in the Nobles. But I don't mind that. Doesn't bother me. I'll just take it off on the amp, and I think there's a little pot you can tweak on the Shanks. So that's yeah. So I love that sound. I like a creamy overdrive sound, and it's brilliant. And it doesn't do that thing where it sounds like. It doesn't sound like there's a clean sound inside the overdrive. For me, it's like it's like an overdrive. It's like an overdriven amp, in my opinion. But yeah, they are worth the hype. Yep. I don't know what the new ones are like. I haven't tried them. I love pedals, but I'm not a crazy pedal guy. I don't have to go out and try all of them. What else have I got here? So thanks for those, Felix. John, good old John Stathopoulos. Hey John, it's been a while. Hope you're good. He says, hi, glad you have you back on the channel. I've been watching you play your PJE style guitar. I wonder if you missed the big announcement. I'll update you on this when it comes out. It's not out yet, but yeah, news coming soon, but not quite yet. I should have read that before, shouldn't I? And but I will update as and when. It's yeah, it's just back there. Anyway, another question I have here from George Cashmore. Hey George, thanks for your message. It says here, hey Rob, I just listened to one of your podcasts and you mentioned the Residency at Langhams in London. I played there the other night. I did the staff party at Langhams the other night. We did it with Bob and great bass player Diego Rodriguez and Emily Holligan on vocals. Man, those people know how to party. Yeah, it was great fun. Yeah, it was really good. A good sweaty gig. I enjoyed it. George says, I just wondered what rig you use for that. Have they got a house amp or do you bring your own or use a modeler? I know you use the QC a lot, the Quad Cortex a lot. I do a few residency around London myself and each place is different, but was just curious how you decide what kind of rig to bring for the smaller, more function style restaurant club gigs. Yeah, it's gig dependent, really. A lot of gigs nowadays, they don't, the volume has got lower and lower for gigs. And sound people want more control over the sound. Usually, like in this place, the PA is spread around the room. So it's not like a staged thing. You plug into the system and the speakers are all around, the speakers at the back of the club, speakers at the front. It's just like plumbed into the speakers. So we're all on, the bass player just has a pedal board rig and I have my Quad Cortex. When we started, we were taking small amps in and playing through those, but they wanted it more controllable. And I must say, I'm getting used to the sound of the Quad Cortex through a little wedge. So we all have little wedges, and it just works. And to be honest, it's for a London gig, the pain in the arse of driving into London with an amp in your car and parking, getting your amp in, and then going to move your car. It's much. The fact that I can walk in with a guitar on my back with a Quad Cortex in the front pocket and plug in and play is great. So yeah, it's that kind of thing really. It's the Quad Cortex. I basically have mine set up to be just like a clean amp and with a few little effects, a phaser and a bit of chorus maybe, some reverb on an expression pedal so I can bring it in, mix it in if I need it to fill out a bit more sound, and a lead channel, which the lead sound I'm using is I think I've got a Vermurum profile, a Vermurum capture in front of my divided by 13 capture. So yeah, that's what I use for those gigs, and it sounds great. I'm really happy with it. Yeah, I would much rather be having a small amp on stage, but it's just, it's just easier. So thanks for that. Thanks for that question. Did I have any questions on my actual YouTube channel? So people, you can send me in questions and comments or whatever you want to talk about. I will try and do a bit more playing, but I don't think maybe the playing bit on the podcast for people listening, I don't know. Fuck it, I don't know. I might just do some videos of playing and stuff. I'm working on some music at the moment, some instrumental stuff, finishing off a few tunes, which are really taking me a long time, just getting the tones. I think, as I mentioned last week, I'm miking up my amps again, so I'm a real, if it doesn't, I spend ages tweaking stuff. I don't spend ages recording, but I spend quite a lot of time trying to get sounds together. So let me just have a look. So I will hopefully be releasing some more music soon. I hope. I don't know. Did I have some questions on my last video? 1 second. Without playing it. Blah, blah, blah. Thank goodness. Oh, so James G. Robertson said, oh, no, it's just, you know what? It's just nice things. Steve Lipmus, 4650, has said, hi, Steve. Thanks for watching. Rob, I absolutely love your podcast. I emailed you regarding your gig at Langens. I want to bring the wife and in-laws to see you, but we also want to eat, etc. Can you give me the lowdown of eating and watching you, please? I've just bought a 2008 DGT. Your fault in a good way. Also got a Brent Mason signature. Just excellent guitars. Hope to be back soon. So yeah, I don't know. I think you can eat. The restaurant is downstairs, and then upstairs is the bar. So come and eat, and then head on upstairs. We're usually there on a Thursday. I know I'm there. They have live music there every Thursday, and I'm there sort of probably 2 or 3 times a month. So drop me a line on robsfunkandjunk@gmail.com, and I will let you know when I'm there if you want to book up and eat downstairs and then head on upstairs. We usually start playing around 9 p.m. and we do 2:45s and come and say hello. But yeah, it's the restaurant's downstairs and the bar where we play is upstairs. Yeah. So that, I'll wrap it up there. What have I been ranting for 32 minutes now? But yeah, like I say, if you've got any questions, drop me a line or on robsfunkandjunk@gmail.com. If anyone's interested in the Boom and Twang courses that we're doing, the retreats, Paul and I have a Boom and Twang retreat that we are doing at Karma Studios in Thailand, which is an incredible place. And there's still a few spaces left for it. We've got a few people coming. Still a few spaces left. There's a hotel right across the road from the studio, literally 2-minute walk. And come and spend some time with myself and Paul Turner, doing one-to-one lessons, group workshops, and just playing guitar and bass for 3 days. That takes place between the 15th and 17th of February, and it'll be a lot of fun. It's going to be great, and the studio is just stunning. And then we have another one in the UK, a Boom and Twang retreat in the UK, which runs from March the 1st to the 3rd. And that takes place at a hotel not far from me, just in Cambridgeshire. And the same thing. It's bass players and guitar players, one-to-one lessons with myself and Paul. What we're looking to do also, because the idea is getting people to play more with each other. You know, it's all great learning stuff on YouTube and learning stuff on courses online, but to get people in a room actually playing together and interacting musically, that's what we're aiming for. We want to try and sort of open it up a bit and get people getting out and playing more. So I will be sort of doing one-to-one lessons with the bass players, for example, and Paul will be doing one-to-one lessons with the guitar players, and we can work on groove and coming up with parts and things like that, and just interacting. So if you're interested, drop me a line on robsfunkandjunk@gmail.com. Shall I say it again? robsfunkandjunk@gmail.com. And I can let you know some details. But yeah, likewise, if you've got any questions, either leave me a comment below on my YouTube channel. Hey man, like and subscribe. You know, give me a click so everyone can know that you're whatever the fuck. Yeah. Does that drive you mad? Does that drive anyone else mad when you're watching a video? And I've done it myself. I've done it because you were told. You're told you have to do it to grow your channel. You have to grow your channel. But yeah, it's growing. People are tuning in. It seems so. It's welcome on board. Hi, if you've got any questions or any comments about my baldness or me having a tooth removed or whatever, I really need to get this sorted out back here. These guitars, it looks like a fucking graveyard for guitars, doesn't it? But a solution is on the way soon, I hope. But look, thanks for tuning in or whatever it is. Drop me a line. Hopefully I'll see you next week. I've got one gig this week, and the rest of the time I'm in my studio recovering from this shitty toothache business. But have a great week, and I will see you soon. Bye.